in my 17th year of ministry. And on Sunday mornings, I still get butterflies. And I'm a person who likes to prepare, who likes to be ready. And I had this great sermon that I was ready to preach to you. It was only 3 hours. And then God whispered, we're not going to do that today. So my butterfly's done. He said, this morning, I want you to share one simple thing. I want you to remind them of one simple promise. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you are. Do you realize that that is the most repeated promise in the Bible? Do you realize that this promise that God will be with us? He will go with us. He will guide us. Is the most repeated promise in the Bible. And sometimes that's hard to remember. Sometimes that's hard to understand, because when life happens, usually the first thing we ask, even as believers, as followers of Jesus Christ, is, where are you, God? Where are you in this? And that reminded me of something from my childhood. I'm sorry if it distracts you, but I'm a wanderer. To be chained to a podium is distracting to me. So I kind of mosey. But as I was thinking about this promise that God would never leave me, never forsake me, it went back to something in my childhood. And maybe you're familiar with it. It was a book entitled, Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? And there's many of these books out there. It's an artist that he wanted to draw attention to his work. He was just a regular artist. He said, how can I get people to buy my stuff? So he begins hiding Waldo in all of his paintings. And so he gets people interested, and then it goes into the books, and that's how it developed. Well, there's a thing about Where's Waldo. There's a progression to the book. If you open a Where's Waldo book to page 1, Waldo's usually pretty easy to find. Very obvious, very blatant. There's Waldo. But as you turn the pages of the book, Waldo becomes harder to find. Waldo is more hidden. He's hidden deeper in the picture. So you really got to focus and hunt for where's Waldo. And I remember growing up at times as I was getting through the book and going farther and farther into the book, of becoming frustrated. Where are you, Waldo? Where are you? And suddenly that became all-consuming. Where are you? Where are you? And it became, as I got farther and farther in the book, Waldo's deeper, but he's also more obvious because we're looking in the nooks and crannies. And if we would just, okay, stop, close the book, take a deep breath, relax, and then open the page again, suddenly there's Waldo. But it would require us to stop. Like the psalm says, to be still and know that I am God. Stop, be still, and know that I am with you. Great. It's all nice. Well, what's the deeper meaning here? What are you trying to say, preacher? Well, I will be with you is a promise from God. And it's from the beginning of time. From the very beginning, when God created man, God took man and God did what? He put him in the garden. Now there's really deepness here. I don't want to get into all the details, but Eden is a very difficult Hebrew word to translate. You know, and for millennial, men have searched for Eden. You know, they're architects, where's this garden? Where's this garden? When God placed man in Eden, Eden literally means a special place. God wasn't talking about a physical place. God took man and placed man in his presence. Because what is it? God walked with Adam in the cool of the day. Adam knew God's presence in a tangible, physical way. Adam knew the sound of God. Because after Adam and Eve took the fruit and God came, what does Scripture say? It says they heard God. So they knew God was there. That's why they hid. You see, the Eden garden is like page 1 of Where's Waldo? It's easy to find. He's right there. What about page 2? Now I remember as we turn the pages, it becomes a little bit harder. Well, page 2 is Moses. The burning bush. Moses is out tending the sheep, and all of a sudden he sees this bush and he walks up to it. And what does God say to Moses? Stop. Take off your shoes, for where you're standing is holy ground. Now what made the ground holy? It wasn't the bush. It wasn't the land. It wasn't the mountain. What made it holy ground is the fact that God was there. The presence of God made the ground holy. So Moses found Waldo in the burning bush. Now we still learn a lot from Moses, because if you go jump later to Exodus 33, verses 12 to 16, but especially verse 15, Moses is leading the people now. They're out, and they've built a tabernacle, and God has told Moses, take these people and go over there. What does Moses say? Moses says, God, if your presence does not go with us, I'm not moving. God, for me to move from this place, I have to have your presence lead the way. And God says, okay. And that's where we get pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day, to remind the people that God is with them each step of their journey. Comes time for Moses to leave, to die. And God goes to Joshua. And that's where we get this verse from today. God is telling Joshua, I've got this plan for you. I've got a task for you to accomplish. And Joshua, just like I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will lead you. I will guide you each step of the way. I'm not sending you out to do this alone. I will go with you. That's all Old Testament. What about today? What about New Testament? You know, when Adam and Eve sinned and they were kicked out of the garden, the curtain, the veil went up. There was a separation between man and God because of the sin. And God didn't like that. He sent priests, he sent prophets to kind of establish a relationship, to work on the relationship, to make sure that there was a relationship together. God said, I want to be with my people. That's why I created them. That was the original plan. So he goes to Jesus and he says, son, you need to know. You need to be that eternal sacrifice, that once and done, so that we can have a relationship with our creation again. And in Isaiah, and repeated again in Matthew, Isaiah says that a virgin will give birth, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. I think that's so much more powerful than simply saying God for us. I'm a big football fan. I can cheer for my Colts wherever I'm at. But it means so much more to be at Lucas Oil Stadium, cheering for the team. And God says, I'm in your stadium. I'm not just some fan thousands of miles away. I'm in your stadium, cheering for you, leading you, encouraging you, strengthening you, giving you all you need. So Jesus came and he lived. He showed us what it was like to have a relationship with the Father. He showed us what it was like to dwell in the presence of God in a personal way. Jesus didn't call us to a religion. Jesus called us to a relationship. And a relationship that is deep and meaningful and impactful and growing, that has a difference, that makes a difference in my life and in your life, requires something. For a true, meaningful relationship, there has to be presence. And that's what Jesus coming was all about. That's what God with us was all about. So Jesus lived and then he died. And that curtain that Adam and Eve hung by taking of the fruit and sinning against God, Christ tore down by coming and living and dying for you and me. So now you and I aren't dependent upon some priest. We can have our own personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's what he wanted. That's what he intended from the beginning of time. Have you ever seen the Sistine Chapel? Michelangelo painted this, whether in pictures or whether you've been lucky enough to go there. One of the segments is a picture of Adam and God. And if you've ever seen the picture, Adam is lounging just ever so casually, and God is up in a cloud. And Adam is just laying there, looking up. And look at God, if you ever get a chance to see this picture. God is twisted and contorted and reaching back to Adam. They don't touch, but their fingers are just right there together. And if you notice, all Adam would have to do to actually touch the hand of God would be to lift the finger. God's all contorted out of shape, doing all he can to reach back and to touch Adam, to reach back to Adam. And yet Adam won't even lift the finger to touch the hand of God. We have a role in this to play. We have to make a willing effort. God's done all he can do, all he will do. He sent his son to die for you and me. That last little bit is for us to lift our finger and to accept the gift of the hand of God. God wants a relationship. God is calling you to a relationship, a deep, meaningful, powerful, growing relationship. Will you lift a finger? All the work's been done. The work has been done. It just needs you and me to lift a finger touch the hand of God, to experience the presence of God in a different way. Maybe a whole new way, if we will do that. Where's Waldo? Where's God? He's here. He's among us. He loves us. Will you raise a finger? Let's pray together. Gracious God, we understand that you've done all the work. You've done what needs to be done. There's nothing we can do to make the work more complete. There's nothing we can do to make it better. You've done the work. And you called on us to walk with you. You promised to never leave us or forsake us. You say, I'm here with you. Walking each step of the way. And we're so thankful for that, God. God, if there's someone here who doesn't know you, doesn't have that relationship with you, pray for them right now, God, that you would just touch their heart and let them know that you're here for them. Let them know that there's nothing that they have done in their life that can take away your love. Let them know, God, that there is nothing that they could have said or done that makes you love them any less. If there's someone here who doesn't have a relationship with you, but they wonder where you are, God. Their life has thrown them some curveballs and they're not sure that you're really there, God. I just pray that you give them opportunity to stop, to take a breath, to refocus. That they receive a new life and in a new way. And all this, God, I pray for your glory, for your honor alone. In Jesus' name.